Of course she is. Just a moment.
Imagine being able to build an app
Yeah,
with
yeah,
your
yeah, yeah,
name on it.
yeah. I didn't
Just
ask her. I'm just curious how she's been rolling for. This is pretty close to when she's usually rolling, so I'm thinking probably under an hour. I can't remember if she usually wraps up before I head out. Oh, 20 minutes, okay. Um, I don't see Leanne in here, so maybe she'll be in here. Well, I guess mine was something. That's what I was trying to do. Anyway, now I'm gonna feel like I have to keep that up. Well, I'll just go over here, and do what I was initially trying to do. Whoops, I don't think that. Okay, here we go. Um, I did not quite title that as I meant to. How much more characters did I have available? Just a moment. Just doing a setup thing here. Just starting up here. Just starting off here. No topics. What was the other thing I was gonna say? Uh, feeling. I thought that I put that into the title because it would have made very much sense for me to do so. But there we go. Put this here. Do that there. Um, oh, that was the other thing that I forgot. So, just a moment. Although it's not all going to fit in the title, I know that much. But I'll say it, right off the hop too, for anybody that, sees this afterwards who would start watching right off the hop. Because that was not there anyway. I just adjusted it, so yeah, no, minimally and pretty organic, but sometimes it's you know needed upon setup or whatever. Um, I'm just trying to shorten the title idea, which is essentially what what the highlighted comment is there. I'm just kind of starting. Okay, actually, as I'm doing this, I'm actually not feeling bad, just sitting there, or not feeling too terrible, just sitting there watching somebody stream. I was enjoying it, but I'm surprised the dog isn't perked up and came over here. She's laying over there. I mean, I do have reputation, but he usually can tell the difference. So can I, just like your family. Um, um, I'm three characters away from having the title, which I added something I just, well, because if the chat doesn't show afterwards or not right away, basically I want anybody who sees this afterwards to like know the fact that I am kind of feeling meh. So I mean, I guess I'm saying it here. So um, yeah, it says it there. I just said it here. Um, it's highlighted so it will be noticeable even when those chats come in. I think we're gonna roll with that. So I'm just gonna take it up to the love. That sounded funny. Say new title. Okay, so happy to chat with you. I don't know about if I want to do music right now. I might do music tonight as part of my meeting get together. I'm not too sure. I sort of want to have this light on. How long did we do? About an hour? Well, a little more than an hour because of the travel time. And oh yeah, I guess I want to have this open and then yeah. We're gonna move over there. I did what I did with the meeting. I'm hoping it comes before, but there were some things that I felt like I didn't think I could get till tomorrow. So kind of want to put on that light. I just feel like it's so kind of not bright in here. The dog's being amazing. If I talk, I mean sometimes he gets hyper, but I'm just gonna do this quietly. Good boy. I was just talking to our dog there. Okay. But the other thing I'm going to do, I sometimes say this, today is totally a day where it makes sense. Not that I'm not feeling well, but because I have a meeting tonight, like I say. And I do have the aphantasia, but I've been quiet much of the day. I haven't really podcasted much. I may have a slight burn or irritation on behind my back molar, which I thought I didn't have my molar. Well, I guess I have all four. How many are we supposed to have? Are we supposed to have 8? Anyway, like I tune into it by counting his molars. How fascinating. Well, first of all, not really. I think, well, it's way more than that. But what? I don't know yet. So let's see. I shouldn't have turned the light on and looked at you. So, you know, you want to... Is it... I don't see those rawheads over here that I thought were over here. So just relax. So this may not be my most perky and best video, but you can skip ahead to get to the content if you like, or check out some of the other live streams. But yeah, I'm gonna wait now. I asked actually, it's something else I want to read. So many things I gotta read right now, and I just don't feel. I think why I'm not doing it is partly I don't feel like doing it, except for like, you know, comment charts. And obviously, if you see this afterwards, then it's not in the moment now. But that's fine. Yeah, I pretty much like it's not super necessary that I read the stuff, but I'd like to. I guess I wrote the stuff, I thought the stuff, so I processed it at least once. How to decide what would be most important to look at, I don't know. You know, she's going to be bringing some stuff and present. You know, I'm mostly fine with my new friend presenting mostly her ideas to, you know, our get-togethers and our collaboration. I would like it to be a bit of mine, but it can, you know, just like if it had been reversed, or it is a little bit reversed, you know, as far as this in-person collaboration. Otherwise, you know, we do it online to the best that we can, whatever. But just as much if it had been, a lot of projects I was bringing forth to her, or anybody. You know, Hopefully we respect people's ideas and find ways to work together. But no, I'm mostly not too worried about that with this connection. It's a new connection to me, but I feel pretty good about it. But yeah, it would be kind of like even within somebody else's ideas, if they're welcoming your input or skills. She said skills a couple times, but she knows. Oh hi, you made it. Well, your stream was certainly getting pretty long, so I'm so happy that you're here. So I'm following the comments on the other screen, but I do see them here too. So, and the way my tired eyes are, don't forget to like, by the way, appreciate it. I think I'm only going to follow it on here. But yeah, we you know, incorporate the ideas one way or another. But I do have a couple of projects that are quite important to me that I would like to be looking at. But thank you for the sub, by the way. Yeah. Yo, sup? My friend here is the guy who I was just watching for a couple of hours. Hey, I'm not even going to be rolling that long, but you have a great channel. Keep going. Oh, thanks. Um, yeah, well, this is the first video I think you've seen of me. I'm glad that you weren't tired of looking at the screen and chatting or at least, like, this isn't going to be a super long one, so I do appreciate you here while I'm rolling. Remember to like. I know sometimes you tell people to subscribe, but I remind you to tell them to like as well. Like and subscribe. Um, so yeah, at the moment you're the only one here. I haven't been rolling super long. Yeah, I'm just thinking about tonight and the meeting, and I appreciate those well wishes that you gave. I'm sure it'll go fine. It'll be fine and everything. But hopefully, thank you. Hopefully, I'm going to, feel well enough to like do to do it. Yeah. I don't know. Actually, there is a thing that we're gonna try and watch, but we might not have a lot of time to do it. Okay, well, right now you're here though, but yeah, I appreciate that. Um, as I mentioned, whatever title jump out to you, and I kind of mentioned how I stay on titles or how I stay on topic, how I don't. It varies, you know how it is. But yeah, basically, um, I have a little bit of apprehension about one of her ideas. I don't even know if she's really sensed that or if she thinks we've addressed it. I've been kind of flip-flopping back and forth. I guess we'll see in the next couple of weeks what it looks like. I know it's one that she feels like for whatever reason, it feels like it's time sensitive to her, like she wants to do this one first. And I've thought of some things that make me more okay with trying it out. And then there's another one which I guess if I express my interest, I might be expressing something else about myself, which she'd be fine with and might probably even relates to. I mean, she's the one that wrote this content, and you're a pretty open-minded fella. I would love to know your first name, by the way. You're a pretty open-minded person, so I mean, I know that you have opinions. We all do. But it's around the theme of polyamory. And I've never lived that lifestyle. It's not to be confused with a similar sounding one, but I'm open to it, as is the others in the home, actually. Um, but yeah, but that one's a tricky one because she wants to condense that project. We all do what? And yeah, do you mind saying your first name? Anyway, we all she wants to condense that project, so she shouldn't show it to me because I may either struggle to take things out of it or take out parts that she would like to keep, because that can be a hard thing to do, right? Or want to add to it. So I'm just going to kind of go with whatever she's got existing on that. If I find that I'm interested in it, I will see how I can be involved. She has to bring some outfits because she's into that kind of art and design, collecting, that kind of stuff. This is a kind of connection that I haven't had for a while, or not in person. And it's just I met her in person. We've met twice now. Tonight's the third time, and it's kind of like, yeah, I'm very curious to see what it brings about. My only projects is tributing friends, which I do anyway, that have passed away mostly. Not that most of my friends have passed away, but a lot of them have, and family. But tribute type things, doing stuff with my music somehow. Um, I have a feeling like, although the person I live with is into some kind of ambient soundscape, unique stuff as well as other stuff, but I don't know if there's a lot of popular stuff, like, mainstream stuff that you know. I'm getting the sense there isn't, but if anything comes to mind, I'm not feeling hugely musical, but that's the thing. I'm actually kind of curious to ask G later, the other person on this channel, if she says, she'd like to hear us play song, to do something together, what should we play? Like, what does he think we perform well together, or that I do particularly well? I've still got a small hand injury. It's actually healing quite. Small hand injury on my big hand. It's actually healing quite well, but for playing guitar and then with the arthritis and the neuropathy, it's and I don't mind those mass words, by the way. I mean, so many guys in this that they use them quite often, and you do, and to certain non-binary folks, they would probably have a problem with it. But why are you saying my channel name there instead of your own first name? But I'm okay with the masculine, so I don't mind. Um, but but yeah, I'd be curious what he suggested, because if I don't want it to come out, hopefully, well, that she says play what you like, or play what you know. Well, I'm not going to play something I don't know or don't like, or don't feel like I am good enough with yet. I mean, I can pull up chords for something pretty easily, and as long as I have a general idea of what something sounds like. But as a singer, or the type of singer I am, and I know it's not that unique, I don't think. I like to feel what I'm singing and kind of have an idea as to what words I'm going to be singing. Yeah. Why are you saying leading in? Why are you saying leading and healing? I mean, I know that's sounding, but why are you saying it? I'm just going to put the phone down for just a moment. Pop the lid off this lotion. It's kind of a different type of, more like a, I don't know what you'd call it. Is that it's called? It's another thing that has a similar kind of name, and I don't think this is necessarily medicinal. It's kind of thick, but anyway. Let me just, yeah, so, I started writing something a few days ago, maybe more than like 2 weeks ago almost, and for a couple of days I looked at it, and I think I told her this, and then I wasn't really getting new ideas. I was a little distracted, and I haven't went back to it, but I would like to. Or maybe it was Kat I was talking to. I think it was both, though. I think only to one of them I said I was also putting other random things that really were part of it in there, because that's what I was looking at when the things were coming to my mind. But I would love to do something with that. We have a unique bridge here, but it's not super unique. There is other places in the world that have one like that, and that might be it's nearby, and not that she drives, but it's still nice to not have to drive too far around. And she lives in a kind of neighborhood to us, although sometimes she doesn't talk to us that way. But yeah, so I'd like to do something with that. That might require my one friend giving me a little bit more information about her life and things she's went through. I've got some base things that I feel are worthy as part of the story / film. But chapstick if you're curious, chapstick if you're not. This is where I would like to be saying your first name and asking, are you still here? But I'm pretty sure you are. If you're putting comments after saying the leading and healing part, I know it's the and there, but that's fine. I'm not seeing any new ones, but maybe you aren't putting any at the moment. But anywho, yeah. So expectations. I mean, can't have too many expectations, right? to maybe talk about that, maybe see if there's any of my videos that jump out to her. But, the thing is she has a habit of using my, I have to go now. Good luck with your friend. I will keep following. Well, it's not just about music. I talk about a lot of similar stuff to what you talk about. I talk about whatever people in the chat want to talk about for the most part, within reason. I'm sorry that you have to go, but I do know that you were streaming for a while and you're visiting your family, and in another country, I believe, from where you live. So I understand that you might want to go see them. Remember to hit the notification bell. So next time I'm rolling, probably tomorrow, definitely not tonight, I'm going to be distracted and then tired. I mean, I might have a lot of thoughts on my mind. Is what so? Is what so? I might have a lot of thoughts on my mind, but I think if I address them pretty well, and if I purely don't have the energy, like I'm kind of surprised that I've actually had as much as I have now, because I was feeling kind of iffy before I started, kind of like Jada was saying, but that was more of a her mind kind of thing, but she realized that it was important to come and talk about it. I'd play some of that in here. I don't know if I've gotten her permission or not. I know I asked. I think she read it. I don't know if I missed her answer, which may have been just sure. But this morning when I looked, and then an hour or so after I got up fairly early, I didn't notice it there, but maybe it's just privated or processing right now, or I'm not really sure. But she said some really great things in some lovely ways, as did my friend here. Well, he knows what he said. Is that so too? I don't, but it's really nice that, after seeing a few of his videos, that he's now seen me, seen this guy who's been uh, commenting a ton on his. But, I understand. He did a really long one. He's, well, I said the things. So, he popped in, he put a few comments, he subbed, he liked. Can't ask for much more, right? Other than to stay for an hour or two. But this isn't even going to be that long. Time is flying, so it might be a little bit more than half an hour. In fact, that's why I kind of changed the title to say it might not be half an hour, but to say a short stream. A short stream, but not to be confused with shorts. Because that's the thing, I wonder. Good enough. Yeah, I don't want to get myself tired in such a way that I'm unable to nap. There was something that was supposed to have occurred earlier today. It was a kind of our air, so it isn't, but early-ish tonight, and it might kind of we'll have to just make sure we're trying to fit it together as best as we can with the rest of the evening plans. I mean, if you're in the corner and didn't hear things, I'd like, oh, I'll just get right when I do. But if I'm putting stuff away, but I'd really rather not be, unless I need, But yeah, so we got a bit of a tight schedule tonight. But that was the other thing. Like, I haven't really streamed much today, and I stream almost daily. Pretty, very rare day I don't. Sometimes I post 2 or 3 times. So, it's I guess to the person that's tuning in who might be seeing the commenter's channel name, I guess I could say, since I've seen his content a bit, okay, you laugh, but to anybody else, looks like he's got strong opinions. Lots of us have opinions, but he's pretty kind about how he talks. And I said to him, and I think he thanked me for it, I said to him, even so far this year, I've noticed that some things that, he maybe didn't agree or believe on, that I or others said, he does now. I'm not meaning to talk, much about him while he's not here, but I'm not saying anything bad. It's actually good. I call it growth and mindset for growth. Um, I don't know if it's just that he's just trying to agree to disagree more, or does actually agree more. Uh, there's been a couple of things that he said about a couple of things. I can't remember. I can only remember the one from today, where he seemed neutral, but the one today was a bit hard. I will say that one that I heard, because it's like, mm, you know, that's a hard one. That's basically what it was. But then I told myself, and avoided getting too deep into it, and thankfully it just didn't. I told myself, hopefully he disagrees with the stuff I disagree with about this particular pretty well-known individual, and maybe that individual does have some good qualities. He just doesn't really show them very much. Um, you know, I mean, none of us were born hateful, or um, we're all born. Uh, we all come into the world kind and loving. It's how the world and the people that raise us, and the conditioning and such shapes us. But the lovely thing is that we can mold that, and take a look. Take a look at ourselves. I mean, if I get along with you and we've chatted before and had a good time, you're probably pretty similar to me in some ways, and I would say that you don't really need to do that. Looking at yourself, and I mean, sure, we all can grow and become better people, but it's just there are definitely people that could probably use it more, and I don't, or probably stand to realize it more. And that's the thing, is I don't do, and I somewhat don't think that they do realize it. But as we and I'm trying not to be like rude to anybody, and I'm trying to be vague. I can't remember. There was an example earlier today. I'm not going to use it, but then there was another one which I can't remember. It was kind of like how we word things. How things might be perceived. That people say. And so I'm not trying to say that I think people are terrible people. But you know what is interesting? You know what's interesting? I would say, if here's a psychology thing, not trying to be like a psychology trick or whatever, but if your first instinct when you hear me talking like this is to think to yourself, is he saying that I'm terrible, that I'm bad? Um, I'm not going to say for sure that you. I mean, even if there are some qualities that could improve about yourself, and again, I'm not trying to put anyone, you know, um, um, you know, I'm not trying to be rude or whatever. But if you think that I mean, yeah, there's probably always some good. But if that's your first response, I think that might be a good indicator, because if I was hearing this and I heard that, I my response would be, that's not me. But if you're thinking that, is he saying this, or I don't know, am I, or something like that, about yourself, yeah, I wonder if it's possible that you maybe do have some things to work on for this year and going forth. Um, you know, Nothing to be ashamed of in that. I mean, or at least realizing that you're human. That certain things may have gotten you to where you're at now, and chapstick if you're curious, chapstick if you're not. There's something there for like a few seconds there, and yeah, that as I said to my friend, although you'll do it both times, read it both times, but you have value. You'll get there. You know. Um, I'm really glad that he tuned in. That was one reason I was rolling. I would still love to hear from Leanne. I would still love to hear from JT and I think he prefers that abbreviation of his name. However, it might be a little bit confusing because I'm often talking about a JP. Uh, Although I suppose JP wouldn't mind if I called him Joseph. Um, I think he's kind of the only Joseph that I would know who I'm talking about, and yeah, I think he's the only one that I'm all that close with. But anyway, um, and my other friend, whose name I don't know yet, just channel name, I'd like to ask both of those. First name, and yeah, um, I'm not going to say it here, but if we do connect elsewhere down the line, find out. So, but yeah, this one friend that I'm seeing tonight, she has a habit of saying it often. So that's one reason I don't really want to bring her into the YouTube, because she might just out of habit say it. Some people are just more like that, right? I think that's what's coming on the other thing too, because knowing city and the spelling and the kind of unique name. Yeah. Anyway. It was like I was drinking soda, but it's just water. I did just eat a little bit before, not much, but yeah, I still don't. I mean, maybe if I wasn't looking at the screen so much today, but I haven't had a whole lot else to do. I want her to mostly see things as they naturally are in our environment. I've tidied up a little. Um, I'm not really sure what else to do, but it's kind of like, yeah, yeah, it's I don't know what I was just kind of lost my train of thought there. But yeah, I mean, obviously I'm thinking about it because it's something I'm doing tonight. So, I don't think that it's not been displaying some comments, because literally the only other person who's been here other than my friend has only been here, that I only know online, but still a friend. Um, Anyone else has only ever been here for like 5 seconds, and there hasn't been that many other people that it's indicated having been here. So, but yeah, no. That's what I was saying, is that, yeah, I've kind of looked. I guess there's a small part of me that doesn't want to put some of the other things away right now. Um, and also thinks that she, even G, who, likes the idea of trying to tidy up when having a guest a little bit, says, yeah, she may not care. Like, I tried to do that, and it just kept sliding down, so I just left it there. But, yeah, she might not care. She's here to show us, some of her items that she's going to bring. Maybe look a little bit closer at the script. And, not much else that, I'm not really sure where this is from, but it's kind of cool. Not much else that really needs to, you know, I would like to try and spend at least 15-20 minutes maybe telling her a little bit more about my my one thing that I'm come up with. Um, 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 I have it written out, so it's just a matter of letting her read it or reading it as well, and just finding the spot that I want to show her. Yeah, the more I think about it, you know, I've got, the YouTube community, and I'm really thankful for that. Even no, I've got the, yeah, I don't need her to follow this, but I mean, it would be something to show her some of the content, or at least work with some of the content with her. I just don't know exactly. Chapstick again, if you're curious, chapstick. I don't know exactly what that would be. But other than that, it's interesting. It seems like he's. Oh yeah, keep following for the music. So he's curious. It's interesting how he specifically said that, but and if that is that, so was to I post other stuff too. That's a little bit funny. I mean, Yeah, I'm saying it so it is so. But maybe just like that part of the name. I can understand if he doesn't know what the other three letters meant, but I had to keep it at a certain length, and it was something else not that long ago, but I decided to make it that because I felt like it made more sense. Leading, healing, cheering. Yeah, I was like able to put that in. I think you're going on. So maybe after she finishes hers, she'll be here. But like, I'm only going till I have to put this in, and that's going to be pretty soon. So, and also I'd like to put these over there, and hopefully not look at them because I've taken. I can't remember if I took one of each or just. Now, when he said he's going to watch some of my video, well, I did say he's here now, and I think essentially that he could do that later. So I think this would be the choice that he'd watch because I'm rolling live if he could. No, I think he actually did have to go do other stuff, but I look forward to him. Possibly he doesn't have love numbers out right now, but I did tell him to hit the bell. So yeah. Um, but I think I'm just kind of in general tired. So I look forward to naps before too long. I don't want to get myself too congested or so dry, but it's amazing actually. I've been talking for 37 minutes and my mouth was, it's a symptom of possible pre-diabetes and deficiencies, whatever, but was kind of dry before I started. And please nobody make, I mean, I don't mind, but nobody make too much of a comment on that, okay? Please. But it's actually not been in that sensitive bit of my gum. It's actually not been that noticeable since, but a little bit. And I don't want to get to that spot. Because then I might not sleep. I'm pretty calm about pretty relaxed about this meeting tonight. I don't know entirely what to expect. She's never been here before. Um, we actually don't even really meet people over. Most of our connections are online or when we go to things, um, including sometimes people we know, but occasionally, and so yeah, it's. But it'd be weird to, after meeting twice in person, to, even if there's not a lot to say, I'm not sure if I'm reading it, because I mostly am, so, yeah, it's, um, I don't know how to get it. So, yeah, I mean, and she can get to us easier than we can get to her, especially in the winter, but kind of in general. And of course, if we stayed there, I don't know if there'd be an easy place to put both of our bikes. But I'm gonna check the bets out today. So it's still winter. There's not a huge rush for anything to go to. There was kind of a funny thing that happened though. I guess I could talk about that for a moment. It'd be nicer if there was somebody here listening, but people can watch back after it's posted too. You know, they do that. But basically, on Saturday when we were out at a cafe, there was I may have said this earlier. I can't remember. There was somebody that is in my step's family, but that I'm not that close with. I've only met him a couple times, and it's been quite a while. That took a table next to us, and he wouldn't. I don't think he would have recognized me until I said, but I recognized him. And on that same day, maybe even around the same time, my mother saw a kind of a former contact of mine, possibly with my step, at a health store or whatever, health food store or whatever. Um, so. But anyway, um, yeah, I'm feeling. I'm just looking forward to getting on with the evening, and it unfolding nicely and going well, and coming and talking about it probably tomorrow, because I not likely tonight, but and I pretty much have a sleep routine schedule, so it's not like it's not like I'm just going to go sleep for a while and then wake up and be up all night. That's not something that I would normally do. If I happen to wake up and then not be able to fall back asleep because my neuropathy or mostly that uh, is too uncomfortable, then that's a different thing. But I usually pretty solid sleeper. So yeah, I talked too much about that. But yeah, so tomorrow most likely I would. Um, Other than that, like I say, I have a general idea as to what kind of we might talk about, but I otherwise don't have much planned. So it's kind of like, yeah. And I don't even know if there's really all that much that I can think of to. What might keep me awake is like knowing that I just want to get to it, but it's only gonna transpire when it's supposed to transpire. I'm not gonna try and make it earlier because she kind of scheduled, and I can't. With our routine beforehand, it wouldn't make sense. But she also, you know, pretty organized with, that schedules things in, and she likes a certain amount of time, for those things and that. But um, yeah, just pick up that, then do a little bit. I'll wait to have my coffee when she's here. It won't be really waiting very long because she would like to have coffee as well. Um, there's a lot of jars there, but I think she probably could prefer over there. But I mean, I can see it from here. But anyway, um, 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 yeah. Can't remember my other thought, but so that's what we'll do, and it'll be good. Um, yeah, there's something that I think she would like us to watch before the meeting. I don't know if I think I did in a text. I think I told her that we decided. But I remember her saying, "Yeah, that's fine." So I must have told her. She must have processed that part, or was it just G that agreed to it? I seem to remember both. Anyway, but yeah, I'm a little unsure. I'm flip flopping about that project. So all I can do with that, and sometimes when we're unsure about something and we don't really know what we want to kind of how we want to kind of look at something that we're going through. I guess that's what I would suggest is that, you know, try and plan a little bit maybe if that's helpful. I had I think a little sugar packet in my pocket from something I was at, and it has opened in half with a thin bit of material holding it in still, and actually not completely. So I'm gonna have to see if I can open that and use it. It's a small packet, but I wouldn't want to waste it. But yeah, it's already getting out stuff. But yeah, so sometimes you just think it through a little bit. Think it through a little bit. But if you're unsure and it's not a hard yes or no, um, you know, um, which fits with what I'm talking about as well. Uh, yeah, the only way that you can know is just to kind of see how it unfolds and see what happens with it. So that's what I'll do as far as that goes. And that, we've actually, and it wasn't even, I don't know if he looked that much at it, but I don't think he did. I mean, she was going at such a pace, not like an uncomfortable pace, but, she's like, this is about this and this, and about this, and this about this, and this. Okay, now I'm going to pull up some videos, and we were talking a little bit, and boom, But, yeah, so basically, I didn't really process a lot of what she was sharing, but I obviously processed some. But yeah, it's kind of like, um, but G flipped through it a little bit, and it's kind of like, yeah. But then I think it also almost just kind of randomly came up. I mean, I was getting scene, and but then yeah, the whole thing kind of came up a little later in the evening too. Not in depth, but kind of reminded us that we're both on the same wavelength about it for the most part. So, and that it's more than just about one particular thing, although that's certainly an aspect. And sometimes it means a while, not that you stop loving or get bored of. Um, and there are reasons. I mean, I'm not necessarily condoning cheating, but there are reasons why people do it. Sometimes it's not good impulse control, and some people may say, and I actually have a video I did a while back about, it was like about relationship advice, that was in the title. Some people may not have good impulse control, but an interesting thought just comes to mind right now to say, and I mean, I'm not trying to blame anyone, and it's things to work on, but now you have to ask yourself, what type of relationship do you want to be? What kind of relationship are you comfortable being in a romantic way? Because there are different types, right? And um, and then when you've decided that, yeah, you do your best with that. But yeah, basically, I was gonna say, uh, I don't want to gender it. I don't want to gender it. I mean, yeah, I'm a guy, but I'm also pretty. It's not that I don't have definitions of gender, but I don't really put a lot to it. People are individuals. People are individuals, and they're going to do some things that may seem masculine and feminine. Most of us. Um, but yeah, but I'm just thinking, think about other ways of which you, not just the person who has cheated, or I'm sure there's other words actually that could be used for it. That's just the most common one, where you've been impulsive in your life, and I'm sure there's lots of examples. You know, you can think of the reasons why, and it's not because you don't love or like other things or people. Um, it's just people are not everybody's the same, but people are they appreciate novelty. They appreciate, you know, when you're used to the same things or people, like especially like the ones that you live with, I really am thinking mostly in a dating sense. You know, seeing them all the time, being with them all the time. Certain things happen in relationships where it's like you stay together and things are mostly fine, but they aren't what they were like in the initial stages, right? And again, that does not mean doesn't don't love, not attracted to those kind of things, but it's where kind of you can add some spice and excitement. I guess it's not a topic, but to things. And not everybody else. Who knows what it says? I don't care. But yeah, so we have an openness, and just because whether it's based on much truth or not, just because her writing on this theme may be a certain way. I mean, some people when they look at writing projects or creative arts or whatever, they say, oh, there's got to be protagonist and antagonist. There's got to be tension, blah blah. I don't disagree with it. Just putting a muscle rub, or any other time. I don't disagree with it, but um, I don't agree with it either. You know, yeah, I don't think there has to be. But you know what? If that's what she's written, then that's she's trying to add some dynamic into it, make it a little bit more spicy, whatever you want to call it. And whether it's a fictional thing or real life, you know, I guess I have a lot to say on this topic, even if there's nobody here, because here I am rambling. I'm feeling pretty decent too, but anyway, even if it's in real life, just because, say, you're in that type of relationship, and I don't need anybody saying this, that. I mean, the religious people that I know are pretty open-minded. They realize that humans are complex, and including themselves in their own ways, and they may want to call it a certain something. You don't have to put that in a comment, though. Um, because I won't forget it then, and you might think, well, even if you care about me, you may think I don't care whether you forget it or not. It's what I feel, but you don't have to express it. I can guess you might feel it, and I don't need to know whether you do or you don't, because I don't, for the most part, and so that's fine. We can disagree on that if we happen to, but basically, yeah, just because, say, a public relationship doesn't work um, for uh, one, it doesn't work once or even twice or maybe even three, maybe even four times. Every group and dynamic is different. Every the spots that somebody are in their life may also impact it, regardless of what kind of relationship, really. So I think that, but yeah, you know, each individual or individual combinations um, will vary. Um, you know, any relationship, some not as much as others, but most relationships do take effort. They will sometimes need a little help. Maybe from a um, additional person to kind of keep them, you know, on track. We're going to, okay, it's doing that thing now because I accidentally the screen went out. So we'll wrap up. Take care. Continue the conversation in the comments, and yeah.